Jesus. Hey guys, we are here in the No Cap Fridays room. If you've never heard of my girl Ajane Johnson, she is here, y'all. We have some amazing individuals as part of the teams that I have built over time. I have great partners in business when it comes down to really helping you guys get to your goals. And for me, Allegra Jackson, the marketing medulla, I'm here to really coach you in your business to make sure you have everything you need from resources to the actual guidance and advice that you're looking for in your business to not be overwhelmed. There is so much happening in the world and there's so much that can happen in life. And so my job is to make sure that you declutter all of that business stuff, clarify your vision, and to make sure that you are building generational wealth without the overwhelm. Ajane is going to introduce herself, and we're going to kind of give y'all some real truth here, right? No Cap Fridays. So I want you guys to introduce yourself, Ajane. You guys listen and drop hearts and tell us where you're from. You have the mic.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Anjanae. Feel free to call me Coach AJ. That is what I go by in my world. I'm a holistic financial coach and consultant. I deal with all things money. And the reason why I say holistic is because I'm not here to just give you a saving plan or, tell you how to manage your money. I really want to get into the intensities behind why you do the things that you do, and just kind of help get to the psychological side of it and help you really heal some of those barriers you have around money. And it's just really awesome to experience people and giving them a safe space to talk about those things. So I'm glad to be a part of this conversation, because outside of coaching there are services I offer, and one of them happens to be helping people get access to like loans and stuff, or like real estate deals and things like that. And so I'm definitely able to provide some insight on this conversation, because yeah, that's like my incognito service that a lot of people don't qualify for, and we need to talk about it and have no cap, because I'm ready to talk about it. I'm like, so yeah, I'll pass the mic back on that one. Like, let's talk about it.
I'm cracking up. Okay, so listen, right? No Cap Fridays, and this is just a safe space to just talk about things that are very real, very true. And no cap here, because we are not trying to sell you guys on a dream. Okay, we really want you to succeed in whatever area of your business that you are in. So I'm going to go ahead and go over this first part here. Let me go back to it, because what came up for me today, and Ajane, I'll start it off just by saying that the finance part is one of the biggest struggles that women entrepreneurs and Black owned businesses have, period. Whether it's having the education, the literacy, talking about the money, and then forget about the implementation part. That's like, oh my god, like I'll give you guys one example, no cap, right? Like I was talking to a client years ago, and this is in the pandemic where everybody was just kind of struggling and trying to figure out what they're going to do next, and people were starting businesses because they had the PPP loan and the EDL and all these different funding resources, because if you got a business you can get that money if you have an EIN. Well, baby, let me tell you something. I had so many people come to my doors and saying, how to get that PPP, how to get the EDL. Okay, let's look into your business. And most of the businesses that I came across had no checking account. They had no proper documents set up. So they didn't have a way for, say, if they go to the SBA and they go apply for this funding, SBA immediately rejects them. And without even asking the question, and this is one thing I always tell people, when you get rejected for a loan, a grant, or whatever it is, call them back up and ask why. Like, why did I get rejected? And that's honestly showing that you care enough to want to do it right. Ajane, I'll pass it over to you. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
I totally agree. I definitely came across a few clients myself, that dealing with real estate, trying to buy properties, and even looking for business funding. And I only really got a couple of people that had the right things. Like you, it's not necessarily about having 800 credit score. How is your money flowing, and are you able to prove how your money works? Like if your account has 20K going into it every month, but then you only have 2K at the end of the month, they're like, well, where's all the money going? Like, are you neck deep in how much are you paying for these properties? Like, they start wondering. And if you have poor financial management in your personal finances in business, they're not going to give you more money. Their goal is not to put you into debt. Like they want to make sure you can handle it. So part of the rejection is they either can't prove it, or you've shown them, yeah, you don't know what you're doing with money, and we're not willing to put up our capital and risk us going, having to collect and go repossess the property that we don't even want because they don't want to do that. So I would say, like, my point is rejections are a way to educate yourself. Like if it is about your credit score, what on your credit, like what history do you have that's showing them that you don't qualify? Are you not paying your stuff on time? Are you no? Do you have you talked to someone to help you with your credit? Like not willing to invest into those services to help you qualify is another issue. Like be able to handle the truth. Like if you are not able to get approved because of your credit, then okay, let me go talk to somebody that can help me with my credit. And then once you get that done, go back. It should be good after that because they're going to give you a list. If there's a bunch of stuff wrong, they're going to be like, here's what you need to do, especially when you get a really good rep. They will tell you, like, hey, you need to do these things and then come back to me and I'll help you. But if you get angry and mad and hang up and slam the phone down, kind of burning your bridges, Back to you, Allegra.
No, I totally agree with that. So, listen, guys, we're talking about the truth about funding here. It's No Cap Fridays, and I really feel passionate about funding because it's something that's going to sustain your business. Some of the most wealthiest entrepreneurs that I've come across, they leverage funding in so many different ways: grants, loans, credit cards. And these are all things that they've listed under their business because they have gotten their personal finances in order. Like it's like the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So there's no way for you to like. I mean, I'm talking to myself because I've been there. Like I've been in so many different seats where I've had a finance coach, a money coach, a credit repair coach. I've had all these different people that gave me resources, but it was up to me, right, to actually take the steps and make it happen and get the result. And what I found in those situations is that I struggled a lot because a lot of the stuff that I needed to do really dug in a lot deeper. Whereas the conversation around money was the problem. It wasn't the steps. It was I felt like I couldn't make enough money. That's the truth. No cap. I felt like I can't make it. I was like, I don't care how many. I'm just not making enough money, and I wasn't looking at solutions. I was looking at the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes down to funding, there are some statistics I want to share today, Ajane, because these are real, truthful facts that are just there across the board. When you get into business, you have, venture capitalists. When women and Black entrepreneurs seek funding for venture capitalists, we get less than like the 2%. And a lot of that is driven based on the fact that there are not a lot of venture capitalist women and Black owned venture capitalists, Black venture capitalists. There's not a lot of them out there. So, yeah, it's like you already have a small pot to pick from. So as we look at these type of statistics, right, which are numbers, which we talked about in one of our other live sessions, like your numbers are so important. If you don't look at them, you can be very blind to your process. So if you're not actually looking at, for example, if you're going to ask someone for funding, then they need to know what you're spending it on. I can't tell you also, Ajane, how many times we'll build in a business structure, and the first thing I'll ask is, do you have a business plan? And the reason why I ask that is because it shows me how intentional you are about writing down all of your business ideas and objectives and getting that ready, especially your financial forecast, so that if someone says, hey, listen, I want to give you money to support your dream, send this over to me, that you have that ready. Because the truth is, if you don't know what you need the money for, why are you asking? Like if I don't have the forecast of why I need this $500,000 and what I need to do to get there, whether it's and listen, don't go looking for a VC if you haven't started leveraging other funding yet, because that's the big dog. Okay, so you want to make sure you have all your stuff, all your ducks in a row, your pitch decks, and everything that is required, to show them that not only do you know your business, but you know your numbers. And if you're really scared about money, how I was, right, a while ago, before, and this is in the beginning of my business too. I didn't just correct myself because I started a business. It was happening while I was operating my business, where the money part was just scary. I was bootstrapping. I was constantly, like when I was working a job, I was taking my paycheck and put it in my business. It was like, okay, so how do you really get to a point where not only are you able to create funding opportunities in your market, okay, so let's not forget every single person, your clients, your customers, and people that are giving money to your company, they're funding your business too, right? Startup funding campaigns. If you do like a crowdfunding campaign in the startup of your business and you're spreading it out to the right people and you're getting that support, they're funding your business. So they have to understand that, I think, and this is where I'll stop, and I would love to hear your feedback, and then we'll move on after we look at some statistics too. But when you're in a space and you're looking for funding, you have to make sure that you know your numbers. You have to make sure you write them down so you're ready to pass them off to someone who wants to pay you some money. And you also need to make sure that you're leveraging all types of funding. Okay, so those are three things that I'll pull out of this area, because no one's going to give you money. I mean, we're talking about people here, right? I mean, sometimes when I hear people say, I want money, it's like they're talking to the air. I'm like, no, somebody's going to reach in their bank account and they're going to pull out money, and they're actually going to decide to give that money to you. So they have to trust that you're going to be the right person to do whatever it is that you say you're going to do with that money. And if you're not trustworthy, then maybe that's where we need to start, right? Go ahead, Ajane.
Okay, so yeah, I was really intensely listening to what you were saying because it's so true. Like knowing our numbers is sometimes the hardest part. Like a lot of people do not like checking their accounts. They love the idea of the money coming in and moving to the next thing and buying the things that they want, buying things they want for their business. And but then when it comes to actually sitting down and saying how much am I pulling in monthly, weekly, daily, they don't want to talk about that because it feels like haven't accomplished enough. Well, if you feel like you haven't accomplished enough, don't get upset if someone else who's willing to give you money says, hey, these numbers aren't like looking like how they should be. If you want me to give you $500,000, like what are you going to do with it? And if you don't have those answers, it doesn't help. Like if you can't learn how to sit with your business and say like, okay, what do I really want this business to do for me? How can I can forecast, hey, if I can get this many more machines to produce my product, I can get more orders out faster and I can handle a higher volume. So that money needs to go to the machines. You need to be able to have a way to communicate that that's what you're going to do for it. But if you're just on hustle, grind mode, the next sale, the next deal, whatever, you're not able to sit down and process. Like you talk about this all the time, Allegra. Business is so spiritual. Like it starts here. Like everything starts inside of us. So if you're not able to be real with yourself and say, this is the vision I have for my business, and these are the things that are required to make this happen, I don't know how you're going to make it. I don't know how you're going to get to that next step. So that's what I have to say, and I'll pass the mic back to you.
No, that's powerful. I want to share some statistics too, because everything you're saying is absolutely right. You do have to be knowledgeable and sit. I love what you said. Sit with yourself. Like just sit down, sit with your business. Don't rush the process. This is like, listen, if you rush it, it's gonna pull you back down anyway, right? Like if we're being very truthful, like we like to dream and think and hope and wish and pray, but the truth is that it's going to knock you out. And at some point in your business, it's going to sit you down. If you don't sit down with your business is going to sit you down, and it's going to tell you what to do. Like, okay, now you need your business plan. No, now you need that resource. And here's the truth is that when our business has to sit us down, whether it's like, for me, there was a time where I struggled so much financially, and my business was like, listen, what are you doing? Are you an employee or are you a boss? Like you have all this time, but you're using it like you're working for someone, and you're still not making any money like you need to be. So let's work some things out, okay? Like let's change some things. So your business will sit you down, and those are the hard times, because those are the times when you're forced to shift, right? Those are the times where you're forced to say, okay, I got to do something different. This is not working. And let's be real, like everywhere you look, someone's selling a 7-figure dream, but they have no receipts. Like I still, Ajane, I'm still looking for the receipts. Like I'm be like, okay, listen, they was just there. I'm still trying to figure it out. And also, you have a lot of these things. We're gonna talk about funnels next, but you have a lot of people that have these. I don't know if you guys were here in that time where the pandemic hit and everybody came out with funnels out of nowhere. That was big. And now everything is a funnel, but it's imagined wrong, right? Like the truth is that a funnel is a concept, not a photo or a graphic, right? It's not a landing page. It's not a like all right, let me breathe, y'all. Let me breathe. So before we go over the funnels, because this is like it
Mhm.
we get to get our stuff out today, y'all. So you're just going to bear and grin it with us. So here's what I think is really important. Let's go over statistics before I go into this no cap on funnels. So women founded startups receive less than 2% of all venture capital funding in 2023. Okay. And that was done by a study in PitchBook, which is one of those resources that they, study pitch decks and, organizations that are out there. And it was in their 2024 Women in VC report. So that showed, and honestly, that has been the same across the board for some years now. I don't think that has changed much. Okay, maybe it might have been 1%, a few years ago. So maybe we up 1%, but I still think that's very small. And you have such a mixed gender of founding teams. So solo women founders deeply underfunded. So us solo entrepreneurs and people who are like, yeah, like I like it alone, deeply underfunded. So if you want to be truthful about getting more money, you need to partner up. Like you need to get more people in your circle that have access to funding, that have resources, and leverage your business in that way. It says in 2023, Black founders received less than 0.5% of total U.S. venture capital funding. That was based off Crunchbase. And then this here, okay, so that was just venture capitalists. So what about these bank loans, y'all? What about these bank loans? And here's the thing: we all want to be victims, but we are not victims. We look at ways to look at the facts so that we can find alternative options. That's it. When we talk about the truth of what it looks like for women entrepreneurs and Black owned businesses in my category here, bank loan approval rates: women owned businesses are 30% less likely to be approved for small business loans compared to male owned businesses. That is a fact by the National Women's Business Council in 2023 SBA lending report. SBA. So let's just put it there. And then when approved, women receive smaller loan amounts despite having similar credit profiles and business performance. What does that mean? Like, does that mean that we're now a victim of our circumstance, right? Because the truth is the truth. If we're seeing that these are the statistics, then for me, right, that means that we have a higher denial rate and we have higher interest rates, even when we qualify equally. So in my book, okay, that means that I can't just go to a bank one time and apply and say, okay, they they denied me, and go home and cry in my pillow. That's what that's telling me I can't do that. These statistics are telling me that I am less likely to get approved. So that means that I have to do more. That means I can't just apply for one loan, two loans, three loans. I need to go to, first of all, I need to do my research. I need to find out which banks are really fairly positioning themselves to equally give out loans. I'm going to do my research. Okay. That means I'm going to talk to people who got loans. Okay. I'll talk to my people, be like, hey, have you gotten a loan before? Where'd you get it from? Okay. You're gonna do your chat GPT research, you're gonna do your Google research, you're gonna do your research. And then what I would do after researching is I would apply to at least 2 to 3 loans. 2 to 3 different loans. And this is just in my book. Everybody's different. Y'all could, apply for what you want to apply for. But in my book, I would qualify those top 3 loans. I would apply for those loans, and I would make sure that the actual money that I'm getting from those loans are going to go towards the business, of course, right? I'm going to have all my ducks in a row. I'm not going to go to the bank and not have my business license, my EIN, and my compliance and all my stuff together, right? So that's another thing you have to make sure. So this is the truth. And as much as it sounds like, because I know sometimes when people hear that, they're like, oh, That's a lot. But yeah, I mean, listen, if you're going to run the business, then get the most out of it. Otherwise, just make it a hobby. So this bank approval rate, it really does show me that I need to do more. What do you feel about that, Ajane? What does this show you?
I mean, it definitely feels like, we can't play victim, right? We can sit here and talk about it all day and be like, dang, I really have to do more with all the things naturally that relates. There's no cap with women, what we do, women, period, mothers, how we have to show up, how we have to show up better, greater, prove ourselves more. It just equals pressure. Let's just be real. It just equals pressure. Like, oh, but you have to learn, if you're going to be in business, not to run from the pressure. You got to learn how to use it and be like, you know what? I'm going to find a way around this because we are resilient and we figure it out. That's one thing we're going to do is figure it out. And so I think the tips that
Yep.
you gave were important, like research, find out which banks and stuff would actually approve you. And if you know you're not going to get as much as somebody else that's a male, then you need to go get other loans and get what you need. Don't be afraid to go out there and find what it is that you need. If you feel like you really want to get out there and get funding, like if you feel like you're entitled to that, by all means do that. I don't like the
Yeah.
statistic. It doesn't feel good. Let's be 100. It doesn't feel good at all. But it just lets me know, come correct. And if that's how we have to show up in the world, that's just what we're going to do. It is what it is.
Yeah, I like that. And that's just an attitude to have, right? Now, I will say that I was in an SBA live stream a couple years back, and this is, listen, they know these statistics just like we do, right? And this is a small business administration, right? On the government side, where they are calculating. I remember having, okay, so I'll give y'all two examples and then we'll move on. I remember having the live stream, listening to this lady. She was African American woman who basically made pieces for the military planes, right? So like, military planes go out, they have all kind of pieces that go on them. So her company manufactures those pieces. And I was like, whoa, I'm impressed, right? Because I'm thinking, what kind of experience, what kind of background does she have to do that?
Right.
And her story was amazing because one of the things that she shared is that get support. She said, don't do it alone, number one. That's the first thing she said. So when she started her business, she went straight to SBA, Small Business Administration, because they provide free mentorship, free resources, guidance to get support for funding, free workshops, like all these different resources that can help you learn how to get better in your business, right? But there's also an unfair standard. So you have to be able to be in the know. So when she joined SBA, she was in the know. So that means that now she's building relationships with people and saying, what is out there for me, as a person looking to get into this industry. I'm a black woman, and I know that there are not even like y'all, there are hardly any black manufacturers out there that I've seen. So to be a black woman and a manufacturer, it's like, okay, now you have to swim in a pool that you may be the only one in. And with these statistics, it's like, okay, that can be scary. Well, what she said was that never stopped her. She said she knew the statistics, she knew the information. It's right there in your face. She said, but what it told her was to do things differently, right? Like she can't just apply and just expect to just get that response. So there was a company that a couple of loans that she applied for, and they denied her. She called up to the company and said, why did you deny me? What were the reasons? Give me the layout. They gave her the layout or whatever, and she said, okay, no problem. And then she was talking about how she went back to the company and gave them more facts, right? And she did the same thing when she said with her bids, contractors, and situations. And every time that she would go back and say, hey, why did this happen? Give me an explanation. And they would, try to poo poo it off like, oh, well, that's just what we do. And people just get denied and you just can apply again or whatever. No, she did not stop. She was like, no, I really want to understand, right? How can I get this? Not how did I get denied, but how do I qualify? And what they told her was, they was like, well, you got to do it this way, that way, this way. And so she did it again, and they denied her again. So then she started to go back into that process of figuring out, well, what happened now? Because I did everything I was supposed to do, met the requirements, whatever, still got denied. Well, when she went back to them, they kept, kind of brushing her off. And what she ended up doing was going to the actual physical office. So she didn't stop. She didn't stop with the internet. She didn't stop with the phone call. She walked into their office, and by the time she left, they gave her that loan. So we have to kind of be very instrumental about our opportunities, because if you know what you know, then you're not going to be so quick to be poo pooed off. And that's why we're saying, look at what you're actually doing. Don't just apply for a loan just because it says apply. Know why you're applying. Know the specifics of that loan. Get educated. And now, Janae, you work with people in a lot of financing areas. And I know that you probably speak to people who just have no idea of what they're looking at numbers wise. They just are very confused, very overwhelmed. And this is why this statistic came up, because it says over 60% of women owned and minority owned businesses rely on personal savings or credit to fund their operations. Is that true?
That's true. A lot of stuff goes on credit cards. Now, I'm not saying for me. I ain't talking about me.
So, personal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is personal. This is not a business credit card, right?
Mhm.
And I think we need to redirect that energy, because the truth is that's what keeps us in an overwhelming cycle, because now you're like, why am I doing this? I'm literally paying to have a business.
Basically.
And if you have the money, like for some of our listen, for some of the clients that have come to me and said, okay, well, my man take care of me, so I don't have to worry about nothing. So they end up not moving forward with their business because they're
Mm.
comfortable.
Mhm.
or
Talk
or or the
about it.
women who are very career driven, right? Very career driven, and don't actually want to leave their jobs, so they kind of stay working and they make great money, and so it never forces them to feel uncomfortable. So moving forward with the things that you don't like to do in your business, like prepare your financial forecast, schedule out your social media content, all that stuff, you're going to avoid it because you're comfortable. But before we move on, I wanted to hear any feedback from you, Ajane.
Look, as somebody who really was at no cap Fridays, let's do it. I wasn't always supported in being an entrepreneur. I will say it was very much accepted for me to be just a housewife with the kids every day. Not saying that's a bad thing. If that's your life, that's your life. I know me though. I like my own money. I am too smart and too like intuitive to not have that adult interaction on that level. I'm capable of getting my own financial stability as well. So, as a helpmeet, I just feel like I have 6 kids, y'all. Like y'all don't know me like that, but I just don't believe that he should be carrying all that by himself. That's a lot of pull-ups. We pay for our homeschooling curriculum every month and everything like that. Like we do a lot, sports, everything. I'm not leaving that on him. That's a personal preference. But I never allowed myself to get so comfortable. If I can be honest, that's when I was the most miserable, when I let my business go so I could just be present with my kids. Though it was a beautiful time to learn motherhood, embrace motherhood, and all of that, I knew I was called to more. I literally felt the pull, like, hey, this is good. I love this for you. I need you to come on back. And I was like, okay, let's do it, you know? As far as the career woman, sometimes complacency feels comfortable. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, with the way they're laying off people right now, y'all better stop playing. Y'all better talk to Chat GPT, somebody about, hey, what does this look like to start a business? Y'all better do something, because you never know. I don't know how many groups I'm a part of where women are randomly posting every day, hey, I got laid off today. I did not see it coming. I need to find a job. I need to do this, need to do that. But if you're in the background saying, hey, anything ever happened, I'm going to have something working for me in the background. And I'm going to make sure that I'm making my paycheck double already, because I don't know what's going on. When you tap into that mindset, like there's a 9 to 5, and then there's the 8 to 12, or the way you already scrolling on Facebook till 12 o'clock in the morning anyway. Why aren't you spending that time educating yourself on something, or starting a faceless page? Like, let's be 100. There's so many different ways to make money right now. It's ridiculous. So if you are complacent and you feel like, no, I make 6 figures at my job, I don't need to, that's beautiful, baby. I love that for you. But if that ever changed, not speaking that on your life, being real with how the things are happening right now, what do you have as backup? What skill set can you leverage to bring in more money for yourself in the event of? Let's just be real. I had to take it there. I you just I had it, yeah.
Saying it's no cap Fridays, so we are not holding back. Just like we don't want y'all to hold back. This is the truth, and we're not, we're not saying anything that you don't already know. I think that, except for the statistics, maybe. I think that we just have to kind of, sometimes it's about the place that you're in, right? Like I remember hearing things over and over and over again, and then one day I heard it, and I was like, that just hit different, right? And when you talk about the job loss, I remember doing a room a few years back called "How to Leave Your 9 to 5 Mindset and Start a Business," because the truth is, you can literally be in your business and still have a 9 to 5 mindset, and that's why your business isn't growing, right? Like, that expectation of how things should be, we have to change that. So let's talk about this real quick before we go to the fallacies of your funnel, right? Because we know we got some myths there. Everybody's selling a funnel. But what I do want to say is, before we move past the financial part, there's some things that we can do to really improve in these areas, guys. Like, if you build or fund your own ecosystem, like, there are all types of ways that people do, like peer funding opportunities and crowdfunding, like I mentioned earlier, where you're actually, like I Fund Women is one of my favorite places to do crowdfunding on, because it's focused on women. I love the owners, the mission behind it. I love the growth structure because they're constantly partnering, with companies that give new fresh funding and opportunities of equal opportunity growth, even those for women. And also they have partnerships with, like, American Express, and so you get to really take up advantage of that, as well as their coaching. Little shout out and plug there. They need to start paying me for that. But I think that if the actual actual opportunity to look at these things, where maybe you didn't see yourself, asking people for money because you have a business now. 'Cause that's really what people get really, really, like, weirded out about. They're like, I gotta ask for money, and then there's like pride that kicks in and all kind of insecurities. But the truth is that that's what you're gonna have to do. Like, I mean, I don't care if it's from a bank, from a loan agency, from a crowdfunding campaign. I mean, we're talking to regular people no matter where we're posting it. So the whole point is to get people on board on your mission, your goals, and you can do that through crowdfunding. You can do that through cooperative ecosystems. Also, you want to amplify your real success stories of underfunded founders winning. I'm telling you. So if you actually look at different stories online, like say you go on Google or you go on ChatGPT and say, hey, pull up stories of founders who actually, were underfunded, but now they got through that. You're going to find out how they did that. You're actually going to like see how they went from point A to point Z, even though there are all these statistics that get in the way. It didn't bother them. And then also, you like, this is one of the things I would say for people who are, educators like Ajane. You are definitely one of those individuals, right? Um, when you talk to people about money, I think it's really important to educate the common denominator of people, like, the small business owners, like we just did. Like, you're just a one person. Like, people don't want to fund one person, they want to fund a group of people. They want to fund a business, right? Companies with two owners get more funding than companies with one. So if you look at that, that's one way to educate. But then also, funders and founders, y'all, like funders outside of founders, they need to actually be educated too. There are too many people in the funders category that don't understand Black businesses, don't understand businesses that women entrepreneurs run, right? Because if you really look at the statistics on that, because I didn't even say that, but we said less than 3% were Black and women. So if you have people that are usually funding tech companies and, global companies and companies that, just have different type of industry types, right? When they see service-based companies like the hair salons and the braiding shops, and the coaching business and the consulting business, all these things are things that women love to do, right? Like, we're in the beauty market heavily, we're in the service industry heavily, and these are not businesses that funders fund as much. So we need to educate them on how that looks. How does that look for them to get their money on, right? So those are some of the things that I can say we can do. This is for everyone, not just people that have a business, but also push for accountability. Like I said, that lady walked into that bank, honey. She walked into the place. Push for accountability. When people tell you no, ask them why. When you've gone through a process, not just asking why every time someone tells you no, but if you've applied and you qualified and you've done the work, don't be afraid to hold someone accountable for what they said that what would happen, right? If they say, yeah, you'll get it if you do A, B, and C, and you didn't, then hold them accountable, right? Same with
Right.
VCs, same with accelerators, right? Public policy. There's a lot of things in public policy that we need to start looking into and changing as a culture, y'all. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Okay, truth be told. But anyway, funnel fallacies. Let's go over that real quick, okay? Because these are overhyped, oversimplified, outright misleading beliefs about sales funnels that cause entrepreneurs, especially women and BIPOC founders, is what I call them, right? Black and indigenous, but they just black businesses, right? To waste time, energy, and money on strategies that don't match their audience, offer, or business stage.
Hmm.
Okay, let's talk about it. Number one fallacy: if you build it, they will buy it. As long as you have a pretty landing page and a 5-step funnel, people are going to automatically buy. That's a fallacy. Have you ever heard that?
I have. I think I've seen that on somebody's ad before.
Yeah, like and you can tell by the way people ask for things, right? Like I said, I remember in the pandemic when everyone was building a funnel and everyone came to me as a coach, as a business coach. And everybody, well, do you know how to build a funnel? Absolutely. I have that in my coaching program. Okay, cool. Let's talk about what you want. And what they ended up telling me was like the what's his name? The Russell Bronson click funnels type.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So they started describing that. And I said, well, yeah, that I mean it can end up looking like that. As if that's the software you choose to, place your design of the funnel. But we gotta but here's the thing, like just because you have the pretty landing page, which is what a lot of them were talking about, and just because they have the steps, right? Because it's usually like a 5-step funnel, doesn't mean people are gonna come and buy stuff. Especially if it's just sitting there, right? Like, and I've had people do that, and then they're like, "Well, I was operating off of 1 month and hoping that I would make money in like 30 days." Like, okay, so what did we do in those 30 days? And so the reality is, no funnel works without traffic, trust, and the message alignment. And you need strategy, not just structure. You need strategy. Like you could have the best structured business in the world. It could look so pretty. You have your all branding elements in place. You can have your business plan. You can have all these things behind the scenes. You have a whole team. But if you don't have a strategy, then a lot of times your funnel will be everywhere. Let's talk about that. That first fallacy: if you build it, they will buy it. Because because I know that that's not true. But what came up for you, Ajane?
Well, what came up for me is I remember when this funnel thing started, and didn't like it because it seemed like it was trying to take people away from websites. Like, yo, you don't need a website, just build a funnel for your offer. Which, I'm not gonna say is totally wrong, but I had a website, so it started making me feel like the website I invested into, that I had someone build for me, that's been like my longest running team member, like for 8 years. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, so how does that work? She could build a funnel within my website, but I just was like, well, to educate me on why this is better than a site, because I feel like the first thing I do is look for somebody's website. I want to know you. I want to see your bio. I want to see all the people that you work with. What are your products? Like, I want information. So it bothered me a little bit. I definitely think you're kind of like loading over there. So I'm hoping that you can hear me and that everyone else can. You are definitely the one running the live stream. We're gonna pray about it, y'all. But anyway, my opinion is, if I feel like a funnel should be used for a specific offer. Like, if you have a site, and let's say you decide that you're going to branch into digital products, and maybe you have a service-based business, then having a funnel that leads people into your digital product would be the most sufficient and most way I would see a funnel being used. That's my biggest issue, is like, I don't feel like it's being used correctly. I think they're essential when you have something that should be separated from your brand, but running your entire business. Oh no, am I live by myself, y'all? Okay, wonderful. All right, let me see if I get a message over here. Thank you guys so much for hanging with us. Clavia, thank you for joining the live. I appreciate that. And she's back. Keep going. Okay, awesome.
Sorry, go
Yes,
ahead.
got it. We're good. I held it down. I got your back.
Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl.
Yes, she said. Clavia said, "Keep going." Yes, ma'am. I will keep going. Um, you and look.
Listen.
I wasn't gonna stop talking though. That's what I wasn't gonna do. So anyway, what I was saying was, I feel like when you have a separate offer and it's different from, say, you're a service based coach and then you decide you want to sell digital products, you should build a funnel for the digital products and have a targeted audience for that, because maybe the audience that wants your services is different than the audience that's going to buy an ebook about what you teach, you know? So for me, I just feel like it's positioned wrong and that your website's still essential. That's the point. And then back to you now that you're back, Queen.
Thank you for holding it down. I appreciate that.
You
Yeah.
know?
Um, you know, if you and man, I wish I wouldn't have cut out, y'all. And I have technology issues all the time, but I don't mind it. It's okay. Um, it's very interesting to me that you, like you said, the funnel process is something that has always been around. It's not. It didn't just happen in the pandemic, but there was so much talk about it. It felt new. And there's a lot of rebranding around that. If I really look at that in the marketing space, because I've been in marketing for so many years, and I looked at that as a way to, educate people on how to understand their customer journey better. So that's the only thing. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's like a ClickFunnels or if it's your website or if it's, another software you're using. The whole point of, really creating a funnel is to get people attracted to what you're doing so that you can walk them through a process and that you can automate that process, right? Like funnels, like let's talk about a funnel. Can we no cap? A funnel, technically, the first time I learned about a funnel, y'all, it was a picture of, like, the funnel you fill your car up with the oil, and it has like big at the top and then it goes
Mm-hmm.
down and it slims down towards the bottom. Okay. So when I first learned about a funnel marketing, that's all we talked about, right? Was the process. And how that process worked according to what software you use was up to you, right? It's up to you. So some of the questions that normally we would get in the beginning would be, well, tell me which is the best software to use for lead generation. Well, who's your audience and where are you promoting? And, it's like there's so many questions in there because it's not about the software, it's about the process.
Right.
And if you do not have, okay, so let's put it like this, right? Your audience matters more than anything, like you said, because if you have a book coming out and you want to attract people to read that book, right, you have to know where to start that funnel and where to build your audience. So if I go, like, so if I go in a coffee shop that I know sells books, that may be a great place to start my funnel because maybe I can talk about my book there and then sell my book. And then once I sell my book, I'm going to get their information, and their information is going to be in my system. Now, whether they, get nurtured one way or the other, it could be through getting them emails that say, hey, thank you for buying this book. It was so great meeting you today at the coffee shop. I'd love for you to find out more about my resources. Click this link and look at the website, right? But that's when you make a sale, right? I literally just took y'all straight down a funnel with less effort, right? Because most people, they go, let me post on social media, let me give them a call to action, go to the bio, but do y'all know that y'all can go straight to your audience if you know where they are?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because whether you have a ClickFunnels site, whether you have a website, whether you have whatever, where they buy that book right in front of you that day because you're talking about that some books, and you're like, hey, I can talk about my book, and I can put my book here. They are still going to have access to click and buy or click and subscribe. they're coming down a funnel. And the subscription funnel can be different from the book selling funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't want to go deep because I know that takes a lot of learning, right? Because if you look at the top of the funnel, it's wide, which means that if I have one funnel that's a book selling funnel, I mean one funnel that's just a general funnel, right? I have to know where to place it. I have to know when I need to tell people to do what, when I need to tell them to subscribe, and when I need to tell them to buy my book.
Right.
And both funnels can actually come one after the other. I know I probably confuse people because I'm getting a little confused into this. But go ahead, Ajane. I want to hear if you have any comments on that.
Got it. And when you get a moment, check the private chat. So I feel like it's absolutely right. Like depending on your offer, your funnel has to match that, and it has to match that audience. We cannot assume that every audience we have is going to buy, like your service or your coaching audience is going to buy the book. Maybe the book leads them to your coaching. Maybe your subscription is other people who may not be able to get into your coaching programs but would love to more information about what you do. Like, which is why some people started podcasts like out of nowhere, because like, well, I want people to have this information, but podcasts are also being used as funnels. Everything can be a funnel as long as you're expressing yourself in a way that feels comfortable. Because if we be honest about it, if you're showing up the way that such and such with this ad saying you should do this because it's going to bring you 60K a month and it made me $160 million last year, and you're like, oh, I want to do that, and that's not aligned with you, and that's not how you want to show up, it's not who you are as a person, then that's not going to work for you. You got to figure out where your voice is. Like, are you a carousel person? Are you a live person? Like, what is your thing? So I think once you get clarity on yourself and like what you're really capable of doing consistently, because you can go live for a week and about a product, and then if you stop talking about it, no one's going to be thinking about it. So what are the different ways that you can show up and bring people into your funnel? You know, and then even if it's, let's say, you have like a book that you wrote, and then you have a template or some type of workbook or journal that goes with it. That's something you can build into your funnel that can lead to people wanting to have a conversation with you. So what is your process? What is your customer journey? Like, the funnel is supposed to be a reflection of what your customer journey is. How are people supposed to get access to what you're selling? That's how I view it. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm perfectly fine with not being correct. But that's just how I view funnels. Need you some more
Okay,
time?
I getting a lot of static, so I was trying to see if I needed to switch. Um, can you hear me good?
It's kind of the same like what I messaged you. It's a little like robotic.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna pause for a
Nope,
second, y'all. Hold on.
no problem. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging tough with us. We are working it out, working it out. But yeah, drop in the chat if you are here, what you feel, how you feel about what we've said so far. Even if it's about the funding, about funnels, like how do you view funnels? Do you use them? How do they work in your business? Because personally, I feel like if I implemented funnels with the way that I do business, I definitely would probably have more revenue. I just I sit with my business too, and I figure out what my business needs, and that's how I move. So now I know I'm getting to the point where I need to start implementing a funnel, but I was perfectly fine with just having a conversation, sending a link. I get paid, I do whatever they need me to do, and move on. But now I'm in a position where I'm going to be doing courses and books and things of that nature. So now I need a funnel, you know? So yeah, it's all about when the right timing is for your business. All right. Are you okay? You're not frozen. Okay. I was like literally looking to see if you were frozen or listening. So yeah, let's try this out again. Let's see.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, it's perfect. It's like perfect sound.
Okay. It's just delayed. It's
Okay.
probably my computer. Okay. Um, okay, so let me continue. I love the transparency here because the truth is, guys, that there's so many things that people will tell you. I need a funnel. Like I love how you, Ajane, were saying that, you had someone in your team that, and let's add that, and you had to really understand, what that looked like, right? And I think every time we get into this space of someone telling you things like, and I'm telling you, like, I remember being in a clubhouse room and someone was like, I can help you make, what did she say? She was like, I don't know, it was like a lot of money in a short amount of time. Just put it like that. And I felt like it was so misleading because the truth is that money is based off of you, right? Like, so I can't promise you you're going to make a certain amount of money because you may stop yourself. I don't have control over that. So it's very iffy to hear people make these guarantees, like you build it, they will buy. They who? These people are people who are maybe looking and waiting for you, but they do have to, number one, you have to be in a space where you get high volume traffic. So, this could be an example of when people go on social media and they're posting, but they're not building their following. Like, who are you posting for? And if you're not growing your following as you're posting, then you're only showing the same things to the same people and they're not converting. So you kind of got to get out of that dead zone. It's the same for, everything. When you're building traffic and you're always be collecting. You should always be collecting subscriptions. You should always be collecting followers, and I'm talking about the right people. Like, actually talk to people. Like, there's so many times I'm out in public, y'all, like, for real, and you may not see me out the person. Think about the what you're doing it for. Like, you're excited about your business when you talk about it. So get excited about your business when you talk to them and be able to actually tell people what they can receive from you, stuff that you do very easily, like the things that we do in our business, y'all. So if you get excited about it and tell people what you do and they pay you for it, it's a plus. So I'm always talking to people about the business. And then they go, oh, where can I find you? Oh, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, follow me on TikTok. Oh, I do these rooms, I do these live streams. Hey, if you get into my subscription, I'll go ahead and give you discounts on my programs, right? You could be a VIP in my community. I'll give you extra perks on our upcoming events. And they're, what you do and how you do it. And the way you describe that matters. But you have to be talking to the right people. So always build your traffic. That way your funnel is getting fed. You can't have a funnel and not feed it. And then it has to build trust. Like, if you're just sending out a whole bunch of emails and those emails aren't saying anything and not doing anything for them, what is the point? You got to touch into the space of the environment of the people you're speaking to, right? So that not only means you need to find your audience, that also means you need to know them. And this is what comes with the funnel. That's why we're breaking down these funnel fallacies, so you guys don't come out here, eyes wide shut and coming back like, oh man, that coach I had or that experience I had, man, like, you're complaining about something that, you could have done something different about. So it's always about being aware. And we're just letting you know that if you hear this, right, if you've seen this, if you even think it yourself, like, oh, I'll just do that and it just magically appear, that's not the way the world works. So if you look at your traffic, if you look at things after you bring them into your funnel, and that could be emails, that can be text messages, that can mean phone calls, that can mean social media DMs, that can mean all of those things. And then how is your message actually aligning with it? Like, are you talking about things that they need to hear? Or are you talking about things because they make you feel good? So I'll stop there, Ajane. I don't know if you heard all of that, but I want to, fix my technology for a second. But did anything message alignment feature because it comes to
Got you. Okay. Yes, I did hear it. It tech issues, but I did pause and listen, so we're all good on that. So as far as like false promises is definitely a real thing. It's very heavy in marketing right now. A lot of people are saying, it made me this much, and how I like, let's talk about why you keep scrolling, and I've already made this much today. And then you start doing it, and they're not telling you it took them 6 to 9 months to get that consistency to make 2 3K a day. But you are thinking, I'm gonna build this page and I'm gonna make this much, and it's hard because like and it also goes into believing in yourself. If you know that that's a way that you can make money and you're willing to stick with it, it's going to take you some time. Yes, then overnight success is technically 8 to 10 years, right? But if people are finding a way to do it faster, that's great, but understand there's still time involved. You're not going to make one post and make 100K after you just started a coaching last week and figured out I should coach people on this. I'm really good at it. Without educating yourself, without talking about it with anybody, you're just going to make a post and you're going to make money and you're going to put out an ad and do a $300 budget every month, and boom, you're going to make a quick 20K. Like, no, that's not how that works. You got to spend time with it. You got to make sure that you're setting intentions. As we keep telling y'all, business is spiritual. Set an intention. Who needs this information? I, say like literally this information is going to reach whoever needs it. This information is going to reach people who need this type of help. I want to talk to people who speak their language. What do they need to hear to make them feel like you're the person that can help them, that your book, your podcast, your planner is actually going to help them organize their life, speak their language, right? You can put up all the prettiest reels with with little cute little lady with the glasses on, the champagne, and she's driving and she's doing her thing. That's beautiful. I think that looks great. But if your caption does not tell them, hey, I want to help you start the process of building this life. I can't make you any promises because it's all up to you, but I'm going to at least give you the blueprint. Hit me with that. I think I feel better if you tell me that, like, okay, leave the ball in my court, but at least give me the step by step. That's how I feel about the false promises and stuff when it comes to the today's marketing.
I don't think
Okay.
you're alone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone. I think this is so real, and this is No Cap Fridays because we're just giving the real. And I honestly know that this is stuff that people go through, so it's not like we're saying just things because we just saying it. We know that this is what people go through, and so because a lot of times we don't speak up, like dang, I thought they was just gonna buy because I put the landing page out there and I did this. And that could be part of the frustration. A lot of my clients, when they come in overwhelmed, that's part of it. They just got all this clutter of stuff that they built up that never got implemented, right? And so what we'll have to do is we'll have to say, okay, where can we declutter, get rid of all those old systems, and get the system that works, right? And then we put everything in that one system. And I think that sometimes it's really understanding that sometimes it means you're getting support. I mean, that's just the real truth. Like, and can't be afraid to say, okay, well, I tried it and it didn't work, but I'm willing to try again. I think that's really important because there's too many times I hear people go, oh, I did the funnel thing, or I tried it this way, I tried it that way, it didn't work. I'm not ever doing that again. And I'm like, that's not business.
Right.
Like, the truth is you're going to have to keep doing it over and over and over until you get it right. There's no giving up here. Like what? Like where did that give up spirit come from? I don't know. It's just really weird because if you give up, it will never get to the level of success you want it to be at. So you got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that we're going to go ahead and defund that. So basically work on those things: your traffic, your trust, and your message, guys, and then put it in a strategy. And then also, a lot of times we have a great product, but the message is so unclear that people are like, I would love to, but I'm confused. Like, they're like, I have too many questions. If someone can look at your product or your website or whatever, your funnel, and be like, okay, I heard her say this, but when I looked on the when I looked on the site, it didn't look like um, what it was supposed to look like. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times we lose people at the beginning stage of the funnel because it just don't look like what you said. You said one thing, but they saw something else. So I think that's really important. And then another part of it too, because we're going down to, basically a little bit over the hour here. So I want to just get down to the bottom of this, and we can actually continue this for the next week, guys. We don't have to be here, but we were a little late, so I do want to give some time for that. It's my fault. Yeah, I'm over here trying to make everything work in our favor, Jesus. So this next part here, and my computer keeps scrolling past. Hold on, I'm trying to get it up. Y'all, give me a second. So for this part, I've heard this a lot, and I had someone tell me to, and I've actually seen people do this. Like the same lady in the room in Clubhouse said, tried to give it this incredible offer, like you can make 60,000 in 6 days or something like that, or something like that, y'all. I hear people do this, and they say all you need is a low ticket tripwire. Like all you need is that low ticket offer to get them in, and then you hit them with a bang, right? And I think that's so mischievous. Like what? Okay, so you gonna hit me with a $7 product to hook me in, and then next thing you know, you hit me straight to your $9.97 offer, like straight from $7 to $997. Now, here's the thing: if you're generally giving people options to grow, and you have a process, that's one thing, right? Because that's normally what we have. We have low, mid, high ticket offers. We do that all the time. But this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about people that intentionally say, if you get that low ticket tripwire, if you just get them in, then you just hit them over the head, right? And these low ticket funnels, and you'll see them all the time. They'll be like, come in, it's 99 cents. You come in there, and all of a sudden you like boom, boom, boom. You got all these different things you got to buy. And you don't have to, but this is part of marketing psychology, y'all. Like this is part of, they know human behavior. So low ticket funnels attract a lot of bargain hunters and not quality leads.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got a huge amount of people coming in there, and they like, yeah, I get it for $7, thinking that you're gonna be able to upgrade them for $9.97. You putting that in your budget friendly offers, talking about them at the end of the month, I'm going to make 2,000, and you didn't get nobody to upgrade, right? Because these are bargain hunters. They're not quality leads, right? And I mean, you're going to need a huge strong back end system and strategy to be profitable with that type of offer. And that means that you're pretty much doing more work than you need to. Ajane, your eyes is wide, girl. I know you're like, wait a minute. What do you got to say to that?
You're good. I'm chilling. You're not saying anything wrong. I am like, yeah, talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah, so funnels are really important to understand that it's, and that's why we say don't always go with what you hear people tell you, right? Understand what they're doing. A lot of people, like you said, Ajane, have learned the funnels and they understand how to do them. But that doesn't mean that they actually have receipts to show you that they did with the funnel what they're telling you to do, right? Show me where you made $60,000 in 6 days, and I believe it. We can go straight ahead with it, baby. Like, I mean, just send it to the email. Show me receipts. And listen, as a business owner, I'm not afraid to ask for receipts. I'm not. Give me receipts. Tell me that I'm going to get exactly what you tell me I'm getting. And if it's not a guarantee, which I hear a lot of people go, oh, yeah, it's guaranteed. Don't ever say that. Don't ever say that. Because you can't guarantee anything in the world we live in today. Only guarantee is God. So if you look at these opportunities, just kind of question it. Like why does that, and sometimes too, right, really no cap, it feels funny when you hear these things. Like you build it, they'll buy it. Oh, okay, how that work? If you got a question after you hear it like that, it's like, okay, you got to dig deeper. Okay, let me ask some more questions. Yeah, funnels are not set it and forget it. So you build a funnel, you start implementing it a little bit, right? You put it out on your social media channels, you put it in your email, but then you just kind of forget about it. It's not going to be on autopilot. So you got to constantly test it and tweak it and look at the traffic. I don't tell you how many people I remove from my email systems and social media platforms every single week. Every single week. That's tweaking my funnel. That's constantly testing constant testing if my funnel works. And that's one thing I do want to challenge people to think about, because we're about to get off, is your funnel. If you are, kind of caught up in some of these fallacies, debunk them now. But is your funnel working? Like, is it actually working? And if it's not working, then get the support that you need. But ask the questions, okay? And don't think that everything is going to be like a quick fix. And I think that's really where we need to tell the truth about today, because statistically speaking, we see that there's already a common denominator in how there's unfair treatment when it comes down to women entrepreneurs, Black-owned businesses. And if you are in that space and you're already in that space, and then you're just randomly paying for funnels and paying for resources and tools, and you're not utilizing them properly, then you're essentially going to get burned out. Okay, you're going to waste your money, you're going to get burned out, and you're going to feel like, why did I even do this? And here's another thing that comes into place that a lot of women don't think about. It's the guilt trip. Like, like feeling guilty for not knowing what to do. So I will end with that, because, we are here debunking the fluff. We're giving y'all facts, and we're talking about what's actually working in 2025. And I will continue next week, because we do have to talk about, more of these funnel fallacies. We do have to talk about the mindset shift. So there is a mindset shift that, that actually moves the needle when strategy alone isn't enough. So we're going to talk about that too, because I want you guys to have real tools and responsibilities to take on for the week by week, so you can come back and ask the right questions. You can DM us in between the days. So if you like, hey, I have a question, Ajane, I'm going to DM you because, this is something that I think I need to dig deeper into. Don't be afraid to do that. Our DMs are open and we're here to support. And then also we're going to talk about how to cut through the noise and build something real sustainable and profitable. Guys, we're here to make money. And if you are here to make money, okay, we're here for you. All right. Ajane, anything with that last part? Because I know you're just sucking it all in, and I know we're going to have more to talk about next week. But anything that you would like to share, and any final words before we tell them how to connect with us?
For sure. Yes. I definitely was soaking in everything that you said, because it's true. We need receipts. We're not every year. So you have to show up a certain way as a business owner. If you don't show up like you have it together, or like you're a real person, then, sometimes people are not attracted to you because there's something going on within themselves. So that pressure leads people to show up as one thing and like exaggerate a little bit just to kind of attract other people to them. Like, oh, she's doing something different than me. She's making more money than me. I want to follow her. I want to get to know her. I want to be coached by her. But you don't know what that person really has going on in the background. They have to show up that way because that's how they make their money, right? And then what got me was that tripwire. Like, that's so real. I deal with a lot of funnels, and most of them end up just in my safe folder, like starred away. I'm not someone that typically clicks on the tripwire. I'm not really a bargain hunter. I'm very self-sufficient. So I'm like, okay, cool. You're going to give me this. What else are you trying to offer me? And I'm like, do I need this though? If I need it, I'll get it and I'll use it. But I'm not going to pay you $1,000 to teach me how to use something. And I already have a plug and play for it. So like, stop going down everybody's funnel. Stop trying to learn from every single person you see marketing that makes more money than you. And like, make sure it's actually aligned with what you desire to do with your business or what you actually feel like you're missing. If they answer a question or answer a, I guess, concern that you have, like they have worksheets for coaching sessions that you don't have, and you're like, ooh, I would love this. I was going to create it. I haven't had time. They have it already. I can just change the font, change the colors, and I'm good. Yeah, like, let's do that, So that's really it for me as far as like my feedback on what you said. I definitely love this space. I'm so glad I picked No Cap Fridays. Like, oh my goodness, because I like to say what it is, and this is a great space to do so. So I'm having fun. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to continue this conversation next week, and then you can. I don't know if I do my final words now or after you. I don't know how you want to do that, but yeah, let me know.
Yeah, I definitely give your tag and your call to action for people to just get into whatever you have going on, and then I'll finalize with mine. And make sure you guys, when she drops, if you have a link also, Ajane, please drop that in the chat after you give your call to action, and I'll post that up there. But guys, make sure that you pay attention and connect with Ajane. But go ahead.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in having someone just sit down and listen, give you some time to talk about your next steps, things you're thinking about that you can't just call a random person and talk to. Some of you guys, I'm sure, know you can't tell any and everybody about your dreams and ideas. Everybody's not on the same mindset and wavelength as you. And I'm someone who knows how to tap into someone's idea and get understanding about it, understandings around money, understandings around ideas. I love, give me an opportunity to tap into your world. Please, I live for it. So I definitely have an opportunity to offer a guidance call, and it's not restricted. It's like we're talking life, we're talking money, talking business, whatever. I tried to pick one lane. Y'all don't let me stay in one lane. If you'll come to me about money, don't be surprised if you start crying about some life stuff and then you start running a random business idea for me. It's okay. I have tell me on my forehead, and that's fine. So I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to work with me. Right now, I have a guidance call that's available. You get a full hour with me, and you get to talk to me. No, it's not free. It's absolutely not free. Sorry, I don't have that. I have a budgeting template for you, but it's not free. But I will drop the link to that in our chat, so you guys can talk to me and see, hey, maybe coaching works for you. If not, just have a safe space to just get it out. I'll give you some pointers. I'll give you a place to go, a direction, some options for yourself, and we can just go from there. Back to you,
I
Allegra.
love that.
Thank you.
Yes, make sure you guys connect with Ajane. She's going to put her information in the comments. We'll also have this on replay so you guys can go back and replay it again and watch it on the Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube channels under Allegra Jackson CEO. Also, make sure you follow Ajane Johnson. This is a journey that we were just taking a step on. We've done a couple of things together in the past, but I built my team over the last year to include people who I've vetted and made sure that we can guide you all in different areas of your business. Like I said, like partnership is power. And being able to, be the business coach that I can serve more people, right? I have to be able to bring great resources to you guys. So Ajane, thank you so much for joining me. I want you guys to connect and just, give her some love. I also want to make sure that if you guys are in a place where you're ready to be coached, and this is not anyone that has a mindset issue, that's something that I send you to my partners for. So if you come this way, I'm going to send you right over to someone else. You have to be ready to go, right? You have to be ready to work. And business requires your subjection to doing the work. So when you get into my space, we schedule a complimentary discovery call. So you just DM me the word coach me or this phrase coach me. I will send you out the link for that discovery call, and then we'll get on a 15-minute call just to see where you're at in your business and see if we qualify to work together. Right now, guys, I'm doing a 90-day business growth and clarity intensive. This actual program is something that's new, and I want you guys to take advantage of it because normally in these situations, I would just kind of throw the program out there and give people a chance to just join. But I gave a heavy discount for only 25 women to come into this program this year. So if you're one of those women that normally you're like, hey, I've had bad coaching experiences, I don't know if I want to make a heavy investment, I want you to DM me about this intensive, just DM the word intensive, and I will reach out to you about what that looks like for you as well. I am done with my spiel. I would just say, guys, make sure you take care of yourself this week. When you follow us, give us a high. Let us know how this live resonated with you, and make sure you put it on your calendars for next week because I'll be scheduling it out. I think I can schedule it out for you guys. But put it on your calendar next week. That will be again on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all have an amazing week.
Bye.